What's good, Josh? Your boy wholelottatj here. Wholelottatj Gaming, back at it with another video. And today I am joined by Legend.
Hi. Hi, hi, I'm Legend50210. I am an aspiring VR chat film creator, currently who has made the recent VR chat film Sync. Good old fun stuff.
Nice. Would you mind explaining a little bit about that?
Yeah. So Sync is a furry martial arts themed short film that I managed to make just out of the inspiration of my own heart that I had found from, I guess, just watching a whole bunch of other film creators. I guess I had been looking for the kinds of things that can be done in a VR space, and I guess one of the things I never really put to mind is how filming itself can be done in VR. I don't really have a whole lot of filming education under my belt. The only real thing that I've ever really done is have maybe like one high school course of like photography done, but I've always had major inspirations for cinematography, videography, all that sorts of stuff, but I've never really had a real place to, flesh out my ideas up until it dawned on me. Until it dawned on me when Metacosm's thing for Into the Metaverse came out, and it kind of got my mind thinking to say, this kind of stuff is possible in VR. What's a way that I can push it? And then I kind of sat down, started listening to some music, as I assume most people probably would, and the scenes came into my mind. The documents started getting typed up, and next thing you know, Sync teaser trailer, and then a few more months pass, Sync film.
Awesome. And I love how you mentioned Metacosm, because I like to keep up with a lot of their stuff. They're a great studio. I also enjoy some of the things. I can't wait until their movie comes out, honestly. I've been keeping up with it for a while now. But besides that, how long did it take you to make this entire film?
Yeah, so to start off, the teaser trailer, the one that I made that kind of set me into the world of filmmaking, that took maybe about a week total to film and then arrange all the things together in the editor and just send it out. I began the filming of all that in late April, early March.
Okay.
And I began my proof of concepts early May, late March, April. Am I saying the right thing?
It's fine. I feel like you like April and then like late a little bit later.
Early March.
Right.
That's what it is.
No worries.
All right. So I began proof of concepts then because I had a process that I began fiddling around with, and I wanted to test out the ideas before I put anything concrete in, as general creation should be done. Always testing your things before you go full dive.
Yeah, for sure.
The of course, that was just when the concepts were done. I have a whole bunch of GIFs testing latency, levels of choreography, and what I could do with my play space. I did that for a couple months, but it was only until the beginning of June when I decided I was going to make the teaser trailer. And after that, it didn't take too much long after until I actually began the work on the actual film of Sync, which the actual production date started on my birthday, which was on the 23rd of June.
Hey, nice.
Honestly, a great time to start working on it, because I remember I took 4 straight days off from my work to work on nothing but just nonstop filming. And I managed to get all of that done. Maybe, oh gosh, you're gonna have to put like a number on the screen for like
No
how
worries.
many hours of actual recording work it was, but it's definitely like 30 or 40 hours maybe. I really pushed it with
trust.
filming.
I could tell I've been in like a few filming processes, and I can tell you yeah, I get you on that. It does take a little minute even to get a short little scene out.
Yes, it does. And after I got all the filming done, it took exactly about 4 months from there to get them all into the editor and put all the ideas in my head into the timeline. I'll just send you a picture of my timeline so you can see how more fun it is.
So, what was it? Like besides Metacosm inspired you to, make this entire film?
So I actually have a tweet on this already. It kind of talks a lot about the not the inner makings, but sort of like what the theme of the film was kind of based on. It was kind of made on like a sort of real event, obviously, minus the
Mm-hmm.
martial arts and all the fun little filler stuff. Um, it was themed a lot around a main character with a sort of toxic relationship with a person that is viewed as their only friend,
Mm-hmm.
who begins to carve his way out of said relationship so that way he can make his own path and informed decision to say, I'm not going to be part of this. I'm going to be who I want to be and do what's best for myself.
I love that message.
And it's a very real thing because I don't want people to, you know, think it's something just for the screenplay, because there are people out there that are probably in a relatively similar situation. People that are worried that that they can't make a decision because someone they think is their friend might not be.
Yeah.
I had a person that was in that exact sort of situation. Obviously, I won't go into details, but there's one particular friend who was definitely a really big inspiration for that, and I
Mm-hmm.
definitely see them as the main character of it all.
Yeah, that hits home. That hits close. What did you want viewers to take away from this?
When things get bad, you are strong enough to tell the others no, and tell yourself, I can do this for myself. And that's exactly why Sync was additionally given alternate endings as well. It was given alternate endings because I wanted the viewer to make that decision for themselves, as opposed to it having good guy, bad guy. Story is
Right.
supposed to end this way. Instead, I asked the viewers, what do you do? And
Mm.
usually, when you get that sort of thing, at least in game design, for example, when you're given two options, you have three. You have option A, option B, and no option. However, in Sync's terminology, there is no third option because you're left with an incomplete story on purpose.
Right. Right.
It's trying to force the viewer to say, you need to make a choice here.
Yeah, I get that. That's a very powerful message. It's kind of making me kind of choke up, you know? So, what was the hardest part about making this film? Like, any film, like when you were filming, was there any part that really took you a long time to do, or?
So the hardest part was honestly trying to make it all work in my play space. I actually I make it really easy to make viewers think that I have a large play space, but the reality is I only use the, what is it called, the little circle,
Right.
the
A little.
standing play. Like I can't do room scale. In
Mm.
fact, the only chance I even had a chance to do room scale was just for the filming of Sync, because I had to move my desk and another little stand out of my room, so that way I could just barely have enough space for the minimum of room scale.
Right, because I
Even
remember like your film. There were certain scenes where like you would fall back or you would like jump forward into something, and it's really like wow. The fact that you're telling me now that like you only had so much room like to work with, it shows like how like impressive it is that you were able to make that work.
but it definitely had its backsides, because as I was filming, I definitely got some nice physical reminders that my play space was small. I had definitely
Oh,
hit my controllers numerous times on walls.
yeah,
Um,
that's fair.
Yep. In the first scene where the main character does a little, like a backward throw over, the first take I did that, I did not take my cable down from my ceiling, and I ended up breaking one of my ceiling pulleys that holds my cable.
Oh,
Ripped
oh
the whole thing
no.
out of the pulley. But it's fine because I had a spare, so it was good.
Okay, good, good. Man, when I was filming this one time with this one little group, one person had accidentally kicked this desk, and like they were down for the count. Like they had to, they had to go. We had to stop filming for the moment because they were like an important character. So I was
Oh
just,
my
yeah,
god.
yeah. You gotta always be careful making sure everything is where you think it is.
Yes.
So, what was the most fun part about filming this?
Definitely the bread and butter of the whole film was the choreography.
Mm,
Even though the story aims to send a very emotional message, a lot of it is focused on what it does well, which is the fight scenes.
mm-hmm.
One thing that you see a lot of films try to do is that they will try their own way to get a fight scene done, but the biggest problem is latency.
Right.
You'll always usually have times where you'll have a punch that passes through them, and then you get like a couple of, like, I don't know, 500, 600 millisecond delay before they actually react to it.
Mm-hmm.
Or you have some that get kind of close, but there's not a whole lot of weight to it. So my film aimed to cut down on all of that latency and make it more organic. There was a film in particular that I saw. It was by Twice VR. He made a little short film called How to Fight in VR Chat, and it was the second one that I saw that specifically kind of went off on that.
Mm-hmm.
But what they did is that they more so artificially sped up the footage for the fight
Right.
scene. Yep. While it does help with dealing with latency and making the attacks and all the choreography feel a bit better, I didn't want Sync to go that way. I wanted to keep all the fight scenes to organic speed. And there was one particular way that was done. And the spoiler for that is I am all the body actors in Sync.
I thought. Wait, so there had. Okay, that's actually crazy when I think about it. So you were the main character, and then like, did you switch off with anybody? Like, there were two people in one scene at one point in time. When, like, say for instance, when you're fighting,
it was all me.
That how? I'm like, honestly, this is a personal. You know, how did you do that?
But of course, the answer is that it was done using an artificial modification now retired from VRChat known as freeze frame. It was a function that allowed me to re-record. It allowed me to record myself in any looping animation as many times as I want with as many different avatars that I want to. And I could be on the sidelines to watch the two play back as they went about. And I even
I remember seeing one of my friends use that at one point in time.
Yep.
That's crazy.
I even had a little button on the radio menu that helped me line up all the animations. Can you guess what it was called?
No, what was it?
Sync.
That's fair.
Sync as well.
So, let's see. Do you plan on making more films? You know, do you plan on making any more? Or like, I'm not saying to name them because I wouldn't want you to spoil them, but like, how many do you plan on making in the future, possibly?
Oh, I want to keep going as much as I can. Even though the release of EAC retiring, you know, all the mods that made the film of Sync possible, I don't really want that to stop me from trying to push more things out. Because since its release, I've been able to meet so many amazing creators. Kong Lu from Metacosm, for example, Photograph Otter, who made Cleanup Crew, Ariel Emerald, who made the rematch, and all those other kinds of people. They're all really awesome people. I even got to be on set for Photograph Otter when he was doing an episode of Cleanup Crew, which is a really nice little comedy.
I'll have to check that one out. I don't think I've heard that one. I need to check that out.
Yeah. Yeah, they're all, you know, they all understand that we're all here just to make films, so we're all here to support each other. We pass on our little things that we know. And through him, I've learned a potentially new option to continue with my film works. I just got to find the people to test it with.
Right. I love the community that's being able to be built from like when one person makes a film to like a bunch of others. Because like say you mentioned Metacosm Studios, I remember when I had first seen it because I didn't even know people were making films until a friend of mine had sent that to me, and it was the like original one they had made, like the concept. And I was amazed, and then I every now and then check in to see if there's anything new, and yeah, it's just getting bigger and bigger. So I mean, yeah, I definitely agree with that. It's an amazing community.
Yeah. And I guess in regard to the future works that I have planned, I have maybe 3 or 4 projects mentally lined up for next year. I can't really say too much on what they're going to be right now. I have it all in my head, of course. I have it drafted out with one of my film buddies who is studying a lot of film. He did his first VRChat film recently called The Place Where the Spirits Are.
Okay.
He is going to be accompanying me as like a little body actor eventually because he's getting his full body trackers soon.
Nice.
He and I are drafting up ideas that we'll do, but the first thing that we have on our board is that we're going to be working on how we can fight the latency. And we have our first proof of concept, which we are labeling as a bar fight proof of concept.
Oh, the thing I've learned that helps the most when it comes to like that latency, like say for instance Discord, I've had a few film sessions where usually like one person would be talking, they'd be like, okay, action, and then they'd be able to match each other because like that action, you're able to both hear it pretty much at the same time. So that might help if you were planning on using that.
Yep, I've got an idea similar. I've got like a whole bunch of notes written down, but I can definitely keep that into consideration. But I think the one that will probably get the users most interested is the project that I will do after the bar fight proof of concept. While I don't really want to say too much on what it is.
No, no worries. It's all good.
The only thing that I will say is that it will be a very user interactive heavy type of deal.
Nice. I like it. So, how did that? When I tell you the voice acting was amazing, how did you go about that entire process of like voice acting?
So, believe it or not, they were all just like people that I had already known. They were just friends. Because Sync was kind of like my first thing that I threw out into the open world. I didn't really have a whole name for myself. I didn't really have people that I could go to and be like, hey, I'm doing all this. You should come check this out and be my voice actor. I didn't really have a name to kind of start with all that, so I started small. I reached out to a couple of my buddies and I said, hey, I'm looking for some voices. You've got a decent voice. Can I use you for my film?
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, a little bit of communal work, if you may.
Yeah, for sure. So I saw that you had just posted about the recent thing you posted on your Twitter, which was about VR, the film festival.
Yes.
Are you excited for VRCon in general and the film festival?
I cannot tell you how ecstatic I was when I got that initial email, because I had been waiting for at least a week after the submissions have closed, and nonstop every day I've been checking my email to see if they gotten everything. Because the whole time I was worried, oh, did they get it? Should I send another one? Should I email them? Should I message them? Right. I was so anxious because this is like my first film festival I've ever attended. And yeah. I remember it was a Tuesday afternoon. I was playing a bit of some Gotham Knights to study the fight choreography and the takedowns and all that fun stuff, as you do.
Hey.
And okay. I check up my phone. I go to my email, and I see Metacosm Studios. And the first thing I did was I sit up right from my chair, immediately tap on it, see that I got accepted, and I could not stop going ballistic over it the entire day. Like I pretty much had trouble sleeping because I was so out of my mind on that day.
Hey, I'm happy for you. It's a really cool event, and I think there was one last year, but like, is this your first year attempting, or not attempting, but like being like in VRCon? Like, did you go last year when it happened?
There was a time that I went, but it was long ago. This was like before I had knowledge of like Metacosm or any sorts of film stuff done in VR chat. I once went there to like check out the event, see what kind of things were there, but not to take it seriously. Kind of more like, hey guys, I'll like went to my friend group, hey guys, check this out. We should go do this as a group because we don't do all that much together.
Gotcha. Yeah, I had went last year, and it's a great event. I think you'll really enjoy it, and I'll definitely be there. Even though I've already watched it, I'll definitely be there to see which specific, because you chose a specific part of your video to put in there, right?
Yes, it is unfortunate that we aren't going to be able to see a full viewing of Sync, because the film festival is only going to be about 2 hours long. So because the actual film of Sync is like almost a whole fourth of that, it was understandable that I had to give them a shortened version. They wanted me to send in a trailer, but I didn't really have one that would be ready for it, and I didn't really have the time to do it for that. But I did have a shorter snippet version drafted out already for another event, which is hosted by VR Chat. It's for their New Year's networking event, whichever it is, where content creators can submit stuff to it as
Oh
long as
wow,
it's like under 10 minutes.
I'm surprised
So
I
I
haven't
made,
heard of that. I continue. Sorry.
yeah, it's okay. I made a smaller version of Sync for that. It just shows like 2 scenes in the beginning of the third scene, and then it just cuts out and little advertisement words, and
Gotcha.
then it's kind of it. It's super short. It's like 7 minutes as opposed to 26, but I think that by itself should still be plenty enough to get the viewers going.
Gotcha. So, what would like, say for instance, since you already have your friend who might be helping you later in the future with your body acting, when it comes to separate groups like Metacosm or other VR filmmakers, do you ever plan on like doing a collaboration with any of them, or do you think you would want to?
It's something I would definitely consider, but that's definitely a lot later down the line because I need to figure out some stuff for myself first before I get a chance to do that.
Mm-hmm.
But it's definitely something that would be great to do. I just want to make sure I can get all of my ideas out the door first before I settle down and work on something.
Gotcha. Anything you want to let the viewers know? Anything you want to,
Oh, that's a good question. Well, if we
Take
go
your
down this
time, no
really big
worries.
deep rabbit hole, I'm just gonna start shouting out a whole bunch of people.
Oh, for sure. Go ahead.
All right. Well, I think first and foremost, I think I want to give the biggest thanks to one of the earliest people that did start to give me aspirations to begin my film work. Their name is Dewey the Fennec. They made a war film of Rexes versus Protogens that was divided into 4 parts, and they were one of the first people that kind of reached out to me to say, "Hey, I really like your film," and we kind of chatted, we met, and it was kind of a different response to be kind of like the first film person that I kind of met that was so enthusiastic about film work until I started meeting other people like Photograph Otter, Ariel Emerald, Kong Wu, all those amazing and talented people.
Can only imagine. I got to start meeting. Well, I've met a few of them. I can say I have met Kong, and I've met some of the Metacosm crew. So I get you on that, and I understand as a content creator in general that it is just like sometimes difficult to find people with the same like goals as you and like the same amount of drive that you want towards your project. So yeah, I get that. Cool. So, would you like to shout out any of your socials, anything?
Uh, yeah, I guess. I mean, the only social I have right now is Twitter, but yeah, you can find me on Twitter, Legend50210. Same avatar is here, little pink background. The director of Sync, you'll find me.
Awesome.
That's just kind of about it, though.
So, hope you guys enjoyed that. This is your boy, wholelottatj Gaming, and I've been here with Legend. Thank you so much for joining me on this,
Always a pleasure.
and we'll see you later. Peace.